One Fight Night 32 is live this Saturday at 3 a.m. South African time, live on Prime Video as well as One Championship's YouTube page. The card is headlined by Nakrob versus Jaosuayai in Flyweight Muay Thai. It is a sick, sick card, and I'll be breaking it down next in Fighting with Friends. Yo, what's up, buddy? Welcome back to Fighting with Friends. It's your boy, brother Guy, back to do another preview of One Fight Night 32. Super, super hyped. It is only a 8 fight card or 8 fights fight card. So it's a little bit short, but that's okay because all 8 fights are packed with killers. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be one of those short nights in the offices for me again when I do the live this weekend. But I cannot wait. The card was supposed to be headlined by Lisa Helen Rodriguez versus Sher Cohen. Unfortunately, Sher Cohen had to pull out of the fight because she was injured. If I'm not mistaken, I can't remember what the injury was again. But now we've got the fight card headlined by, as you can see on screen, Nakrob versus Jaosuayai. It's gonna be someone's gonna be going to sleep for sure because I think both guys are pretty much on a very good run. And as always, we'll start at the top of the card. Let me get straight to it for you, ladies and gentlemen, because I can't wait. Um, Obviously, what's important is before getting too excited for these fights, these guys are gonna have to go through obviously weight and hydration tests, which is the true test. And once we'll know what happens after that weight and hydration, and then I will see where my excitement sits because usually fights can be made or be made at the end of when it comes to weight and hydration. Okay, so let's go. Nakrob, 26 years old, record in one championship is 10 wins, 2 losses, 0 no contest. He's got 3 wins by KO, 2 wins by TKO with a 50% finishing rate. He beat Piang Luang by KO in his last fight. He also he lost to Kong Torani before that. He was on a five fight win streak before that, beating everyone leg twice in that process. Kind of shows you what kind of a beast this guy really is. I'm a fan. I think he's a fantastic prospect for that. I think he's also ranked, if I'm not mistaken, he's ranked number 4. Let me see here. He's ranked number 5. He's jumping around those rankings. So he was ranked number 4. Um, yeah, so he beat Pang Luang, Kongtor, and he lost to, he beat anyone like before that, and Tajir Kolilov. He also went through Muay Thai, the elbow zombie. So, I mean, he's a beast, dude, and he's been knocking these athletes out. He's taken on Jaosuayai. He's the younger athlete here. He's 23 years old. His record in one championship is 7 wins, 2 losses, 0 no contest. He's got 5 wins by KO, 71% finishing rate. He beat Dennis Purik by KO in his last fight. He's also on a quite a five on a win streak. He's got 4 fight win streak at the moment. And dude, he's looking like he's turning himself into a pretty much a problem for this flyweight division. I think he's a prospect. I mean, he lost to Kong Torani before he went on this 4 fight win streak, and he's been in there with some killers as well. Sukhumvit, who's also going to be fighting this week on the Friday fights card. Beat him twice, by the way. And he beat Suryan Lek and Yodlik Pek. All power punches, right? And Jaosuayai, he's starting to really take his shape as he's getting older. I dig his style. I think he's got fantastic footwork. He's fast. He's got some really good boxing. Not your traditional you go, I go and throw and then get into exchange and then we just drop elbows. He's a lot more elusive and he picks his shots quite nicely. Um, Look, he's taken on someone who I think hits really, really hard. He's a little bit more traditional, right? Nakrob is your um, kind of stand and bang, not necessarily bah, 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 and it comes out and then bounce, 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 and goes in. He's more of like standing, throw every throw is going to be really hard. Look to attack the calves, attack the body, but attack it in a very, very hard manner. One shot, maybe 2 shots at a time at most. And then once he really gets you rocked up against the ropes, then he starts putting some combinations together. But I think Xiao is going to be hard for him to track down, if I'm being honest. And I think Xiao also packs the punch, considering how much he's kind of filled out into the flyweight division and also like how he's honing in on his skill a bit better. He looks to be much more in shape since that fight against Kong Torani. He looked a bit thin in that fight. But now he's kind of like really filled out and he's climbing the rankings in a way that you can't ignore him. And I think in this fight, I can expect Jaosuayai to get the stoppage maybe around 2 or 3, if I'm being honest. I think Nakrob is going to be a bit of a problem in the beginning, but Jaosuayai, if he uses that footwork and fight outside and inside and dances from left to right, I think Nakrob's going to have a hard time tracking him down and getting him to be in a position where he can really let his hands go. So I'm going to go Joshua just because the footwork for me is going to be the definitive factor in this fight. I think power-wise, they're kind of equal. I think Nakrob slightly more powerful, but they're very equal in that regard. But because Jaosuayai's got the speed advantage and he's got the footwork that's a little bit more fancier, if you will, than Nakrob's, I think Nakrob's going to have to do a little bit more to get the job done. He's going to have to make it very, very ugly, if you ask me, like a super ugly fight if he's going to get it done. Whereas Jaosuayai is going to have to keep it clean, and the way he beat Dennis Pulis and the way he beat Yudek kind of highlights to me that he can stand and bang as well, dude. And he can, if he wants to, he can put some shots in there. His boxing's a bit more fluid as well. Like he attacks the body, then goes to the head in a way that's almost like a traditional boxer. And I think that's dangerous for Muay Thai fighters. So Jaosuayai, I'm gonna go Jaosuayai for the win. Um, Probably at most realistic, I'm gonna say three round decision. But I can also see him getting the job done and possibly maybe getting one or two knockdowns and maybe finishing three. Just gonna get some more. Let me get my tunes while this is happening. So in moments like that, I'm gonna be drinking water quite a few times. Then okay. Oh, all right. We're gonna keep it moving to the co-main event, where again another super hyped fight. I'm looking forward to this one because I expect a stoppage in this fight. If I'm gonna be for sure, that main event might most likely go to decision because of the high level opponents. I think this fight's gonna go to a stoppage just because of who's fighting, right? The style and also the stylistic matchup here. I think it's definitely gonna get a finish. So we have one of my favorite prospects at the moment in Alif fighting out of Sota Japan, 21 years old. Record in one championship is 7 wins, 2 losses, 0 no contest. He's got 4 wins by KO, 1 win by TKO. He's also got a 71% finishing rate. He beat Shamil Udakov by KO in his last fight. He also is on a 3-fight win streak, beating Zakaria Al-Jamari in that run, who is the older brother of his opponent in Ahmedi Al-Jamari, who is 27 years old. His record in one championship is 1 win, 0 losses, 0 no contest. Had 1 win came by KO, beating Tongpoon. And Tongpoon is also a powerful puncher, good fight as well. And Al-Jamari disposed of him. If I'm not mistaken, that was in round 1, or just go and check. Yeah, I think it was round 1. Round 1, yeah. Just before the round 1 had ended, he knocked him out. Beautiful right, left, one to the body, one to the head. Beautiful shot. Which put on a good debut. I like the Al-Jamari brothers because they put on fights that are quite exciting. I don't know if they can go out and make fight for the gold. I'm just not too sure about that. But they do always put in some good prospect fights. Not necessarily prospect, but they put on such good fights that those who are coming up would have to go through someone like the Al-Jamari brothers to kind of see where you land in the divisions, right? This is a strawweight Muay Thai division where Prajan Chai is the champion. He's probably going to be fighting against Jonathan Diabella for the kickboxing, defending the kickboxing strawweight title. But he's only 31 years old, so I want to see him, fight for that or defend that strawweight Muay Thai strap. Considering because there's a lot of strawweight fighters that are continuously fighting on Friday Fights cards, Fight Night cards, and they're starting to look really good. So I want to see Prajan Chai defend both those titles. It would be nice to see him fight Muay Thai as well again. I leave Soda Japan. Killer, absolute killer. So I want to quickly go and check the 2 losses. So the 2 losses were against Elias Brothers Barbosa. That was split decision, and then he lost against Zhang Paiman. Both those fights were early last year, and Zhang Paiman was a kickboxing bout. Other than that, dude, he's been on a 4-fight win streak before he lost against those 2 athletes, and then he beat Zakaria, Walter Goncalves, and Shamil back to back. Knocked out Walter and knocked out Shamil both in the first round. I'm a fan of Alif style, dude. I like the way he fights. I think he's tall for strawweight, so like he's almost 6 foot tall for strawweight. So he's gonna tower over all the fighters in strawweight division, right? And also his style is very much on the front foot. Beautiful, methodical, attacks the body, uses deeps, uses calf kicks, devastating elbows. When he has you up against the ropes, he lets nice combinations go. And he also fights really well with that length. He knows how to use it. He knows how to have his opponent stay at the outside or at the end of his jabs or end of his right hands and his kicks. So he never really gives up the space where you can close him down. And if you close him down, I expect to see what Alif does really well, which is he throws elbows, he steps off either left or right, cutting angles, so it kind of makes you run into empty spaces. That's when he lets those elbows go, Maybe lets those right hands go. Fascinating fighter, really, really technically sound, and also what's the word? Is beautiful on the eye in terms of watching the way he throws those weapons. Just a fascinating fighter, and I think he's going to be a top prospect for that strawweight division. I mean, what's his name? Prajancha is 10 years older, so I think Alif will probably be fighting for the title for me, in my mind, maybe in the next 2 years, if I'm being honest, because there's a lot of killers in that division, right? There's lots of killers in that division, and I think that depending on how matchups go, it could be within the next year or the year after that. Because Prajancha, like I said, he's a two sport champion, so defending two titles in the same weight isn't that easy. It means that one of the divisions is gonna have to, be put on hold. So, but Alif, if he keeps fighting the way he's fighting, I can see him definitely going up to challenging for that title very, very soon, depending on how he fights this fight. But I think he's gonna win this matchup. I think he's gonna utilize that length, especially because Aljamaari is. Look at the way he fights. His boxing is very short, so it's like short hooks. You know what I mean? He doesn't necessarily fight off the jab that much. And if he's going to fight off the jab a lot, he's going to have a hard time tracking down Alif because of the height discrepancy. I think Aljamaari is 5'6", whereas Alif is almost 6 foot. He's 5'9", touching 6 foot. There's quite a big difference there. And because of the style of Alif, I don't think Aljamaari is going to have an easy time getting into that void and letting those hands go. He's got some good body work. He's probably going to have to utilize that body work quite frequently to slow down Alif. I think he's going to have to attack the calves, right? When Alif switches stances, attack the calves, get him to be almost in your line of fire. And then when you do enter to attack the body first. If that means you're going to tip, then go into an overhand right, or you're going to, cut an angle, then hit the body, then go to the head again. You're going to have to do a lot of that to bring Alif's guard down, and then he can attack the head and to get Alif to be stationary. If he doesn't do that, I think Alif's going to piece him up and probably stop him within the first or second round. But that's going to be a beautiful, beautiful co-main event. As always, ladies and gentlemen, give me your thoughts about who you think is going to get the job done over there. Let's just drop it all in the comments. For now, I'm going to keep it moving to the next fight that's on that fight card, which will be the featured bout. Just make sure everyone set in nicely. We got Aliberg Rasulov taking on Maurice Abevi for lightweight MMA. And Aliberg Rasulov, if you remember, he fought against Christian Lee in his last fight. That fight got stopped for no contest due to an eye poke, if I'm not mistaken. I remember it was early in the fight as well. I didn't even get to go into the later rounds and get them revved up. But anyway, Aliberg Rasulov is 32 years old. His record in one championship is 1 win. Obviously, he's got no losses, and then he's got the one no contest. He fought that against Christian Lee, and then before that, he beat Ok Rae Yoon, who previously fought for the title and was the former title holder, beating Christian Lee by unanimous decision. But Ali Berg beat Ok Rae Yoon by unanimous decision. Interesting fight. He just wrestled quite a bit in that fight. He didn't really do much on the feet. He just wrestled quite heavily. But that's fine. That's your keys to victory. You go for it. He's taken on Maurice Abevi, who is 25 years old. His record in one championship is 3 wins, 1 loss, and 0 no contests. He's got 2 wins by KO. So on a 3-fight win streak at the moment. He beat Samat Mamedov by TKO in his last fight. So Maurice Abevi, I like that how he's starting to, get his weight cuts on check. I remember when he debuted, it was a bit difficult. I remember he was breathing heavy. He was this big lightweight, and I was like, oh, he's packing a lot of muscle, but he's tanked after the first round, right? I was like, oh, what's up with this dude? The 3 fights that he went on a 3-fight win streak, he beat Blake Cooper and Zhang Lepeng, who also fought for the title before. So that kind of shows you the pedigree of Maurice Abevi, right? How is he going to fight this fight? I expect this fight to be where Aliberg Rasulov is probably going to from the get-go. He's going to go in, maybe fake jab, fake right hand, and then go in for a hard takedown. Maybe pump one of those fakes and then go into a hard takedown. Because that is Maurice Abevi's That is Maurice Abevi's defense, right? He's got jiu-jitsu blue belt. I think he's a blue belt at the moment, and he's got good jiu-jitsu. Okay, jiu-jitsu, right? But his forte is definitely stand-up. He's got really good stand-up, good kickboxing. He's got devastating elbows, backs a heavy punch, right? He hits really, really hard, and a nice body kick, especially switch body kick. It's beautiful to witness. And when those things land, his opponents didn't like it, right? But then again, he's going to have to defend the takedowns from Rasulov, which is what Rasulov is going to do, right? The pedigree of wrestling from Rasulov is really, really high. And I think that's what he's going to do from the get-go. If Maurice Beve is smart and has pretty good takedown defense, which I think is starting to showcase, if you consider his last couple of opponents who are predominantly wrestlers, he actually was able to stifle some of those takedowns, right? He was able to stop a lot of it and keep the fight on the feet. And then when he does that, that's where he lets those hands go. I think there's a chance for him to win here. Look, at it's a 3-round fight, not a 5-round fight. I think that we could expect Alikhbek to be aggressive from the first round, try and get that takedown. If he gets that takedown in the first round fairly easy, I think he's going to win the fight. I think he's probably going to stop Maurice, maybe round 3, but possibly also win the fight, most likely on decision. Heavy takedowns, heavy wrestling, round 1, round 2, round 3, so they're probably going to be tied, and he's going to look to survive a lot of the onslaught that's going to come from Maurice Beve and then win the fight on decision. That's the most likeliest outcome I see the fight playing out. But what I would like to see is Maurice Beve actually go in and starch him, right? Possibly get a finish in the first round. If not, I want to see Maurice Beve really defend that takedowns in a way where he doesn't exhaust himself so much. Don't stay on back too much. Don't give up position if he does get taken down. Get back to your feet very, very quickly. Use the high crotch, use the wizard. Look at ease in the ring. That doesn't favor any much of the grapplers even when they're defending. But I think if Maurice Beve can get the early underhooks when he gets taken down, gets on a shot on him, keep his hips away, reverse the position, stay on his feet, and let that jab work. Even throw in a knee, because Rasulov is probably going to do quite relentless with his takedowns. Very similar to Marab. And I think that Maurice Beve is going to have to throw some uppercuts in there, keep his hooks down, defend that takedown, throw some knees if necessary, work off the jab, use that heavy body kicks to make Alikhbek respect that he can't just shoot at will. You know what I mean? And maybe he can tie him down, and then when they get to the third round, I expect Maurice Beve to let that gas tank empty and let those hands go and possibly get that finish. It's going to be an exciting matchup. I think both guys pretty much would line themselves up for a shot at Christian Lee if they win, whoever wins this fight here. And I'm hoping that Maurice Beve gets the job done. I wouldn't be upset if Alikhbek Rasulov wins, because he would deserve a rematch after that fight has gone to a no contest, especially in the manner that he did against Christian Lee. So I would love to see that rematch also play out. At the moment, I think Maurice Beve, if he wins here, it'll be a 4-fight win streak. You wouldn't be able to deny him for a title shot, right? So I would be more excited for that one than to see a rematch between what's his name, Alikhbek. But okay, let me know your thoughts in the comments, please, ladies and gentlemen, about that matchup. I'm going to keep it moving to a fight that I am intrigued for, because it's going to be a mouth-watering fixture. Muay Thai, Flyweight, where the division is already absolutely stacked, right? We have we have Johan Ghazali. He's taking on Diego Paez in the Flyweight Muay Thai bout. Johan Ghazali, 18 years old. His record in one championship is 6 wins, 2 losses, 0 contest, 5 wins by KO, 83% finishing rate. He lost to Johan Estupinan by unanimous decision in his last fight. He beat Jose Cruz by KO in the fight before that. He lost to Nguyen Tran, and then he was on a 5-fight win streak before all of that coming in 2023. So he went on a tear, just beating everybody, and I think Johan Ghazali went on an interview recently saying that he wants to be the next Conor McGregor kind of prospect for for one championship. He feels like they need a character like that to explode the organization, and he wants to be that character. I mean, he's making noise and he's putting on fantastic fights. He's brutal, he's very powerful, and he's quite lengthy for the flyweight Muay Thai division as well. Look, he's taking on Diego Paez, who's older. He's 31 years old. His record in one championship is 0 wins, 1 loss, 0 no contest. He lost to Sean Klamakau by split decision in his debut. He racked up a multiple amount of titles, 4 titles outside of one championship coming into it. And he's got a very good gym. He's a good coach. I've been checking him out on Instagram. Very, very talented fighter. I just think that maybe the fight against Klamakau, which I was a bit surprised that he lost, by the way. I was like, how did he lose to Sean Klamakau? They trained together in the past, so they obviously knew each other really well. But I think that could also be maybe debut jitters in one championship. We don't know. So I kind of, based on what I'm seeing now, he coaches his athletes. I expect to see a bit more from him, right? And he was a champion 4 times in 4 different belts. So I want to kind of see that show up. He's taking on a prospect here. He's taking on someone that's that's coming with fire. If you look at Johan Ghazali's fights, he doesn't play around. He goes in there and he just puts power. He puts some heavy metal on you. He just heavy leather. He just wants to throw and bang. Look, even though it's power shots all the time, they do come with very good technique, and Johan Ghazali does set it up really well. One thing that does show is his inexperience once they get to the third round. If you get to the third round with Johan Ghazali, you can expect him just to throw right hand, maybe kick you, walk you down, and then right hand, left hand when he gets into the pocket, which is where you can kind of get him. That's where Johan Estupinan exposed that in the fight when they fought each other, is that when they got to the third round, he just used his jab and his teeps and his high kicks and his low kicks and jab, and then threw a right hand. And that's how he was racking up points and getting past Johan Ghazali, who was just looking to throw a heavy maker, right? That heavy blow, which was missing him a lot of the time. So I think Diego Paez has more experience. So I expect him to utilize a lot of the tips, the fakes in the teep, and then a right hand again. I expect him to throw a lot of those combinations and be active in the way that gets Johan Ghazali sort of twitching and like not sure when he needs to enter, right? I think he's got to keep his guard up as well, because if he doesn't keep his guard up, which just goes without saying, but if he gets sucked into some of those brawls and exchanges, he might come off second best, because Johan Ghazali is durable, he's young, he's fresh, he's built really well, and he has a lot of heaviness into his punches. So I think he might win those gunfire exchanges if they stay in his pocket for too long, which is where Johan Ghazali thrives in. But Paez, if he utilizes the overall theme, throwing some elbows, throwing some teeps, dances on the outside, make the bull chase him, I think he wins the fight on decision. I don't know if he has the power to go in there and put Johan Ghazali out. Maybe over 3 rounds, he pieces him up, and then once Johan Ghazali has nothing left to him, you could see that maybe over the time of the fight, too much damage, and then we could see Diego Paez have his hand raised. Needless to say, this is going to be a fascinating brawl, and I think it's going to be a beautiful fight, and both guys are looking to make waves in a division that is already stacked. I have to remind everybody, the Flyweight Muay Thai division in one championship is not short of killers. Everyone in that division is killers, so I think if Johan Ghazali and Diego Paez puts on a fascinating performance, they could expect themselves very close to a ranking position. They could fight for the ranking, and then next thing you know, they can fight for a title. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts for that matchup, as always, in the comments. I'm going to go with Johan Ghazali. I think he's got the power. I think he's got the thing. He's got the stuff to do it. And this is going to be a fascinating test for him, right? I think Diego Paez is going to be a fascinating test for him. I think skillfully, Diego Paez should be able to have enough in his arsenal to actually win the fight. But I mean, with these 4-ounce gloves, anything can happen. You can get rocked, and the next thing you know, you're on the floor, and bang, you're in your chops, right? You're getting knocked out. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts, please, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to the next fight, right? Where Johan Ghazali's previous opponent's also on this fight card. He's taken on a profile fighter that's been in the One Championship for quite some time, and he's ranked in the Flyweight Muay Thai division. Well, not anymore, but he was. Let's just get back to it. But he was, I think he's ranked in the kickboxing, flyweight kickboxing. So, talking about Taiki Naito, obviously. Johan Estupinan, the Panda Kick is back, and he's coming up against Taiki Naito, which is going to be a good fight, right? Johan Estupinan, 22 years old, record in One Championship is 5 wins, 0 losses. So he's still undefeated, even outside of One Championship. He's 2 wins by KO, 1 win by TKO with a 60% finishing rate. He beat Johan Ghazali, like I said, by unanimous decision in his last fight. Whereas Taiki Naito, who's 29 years old, his record in One Championship is 7 wins, 6 losses, 0 no contest. I wrote on my notes that he's a decision king, because he only has 1 KO or 1 finish. Out of the 7 wins, I think he only has 1 finish, if I'm not mistaken. But just make sure I've got that correct. I think it was his opening bout. I think his debut fight in One Championship. Yes, his debut fight finished in a TKO. Right, so Taiki Naito, like I said, he lost to Elias Mahmoudi by KO in his last fight. He was on a 2-fight losing streak as it stands. That fight against Elias Mahmoudi, I would like for them to actually try and go and put that under the microscope again, because I feel like Elias Mahmoudi got banned for a substance. He's currently on suspension. Could that have been taken an effect also in the fight against Taiki Naito? We don't know. But anyway, we are here now. This is also a flyweight Muay Thai, like I said, where it's filled with a lot of killers. Johan Estupinan, he's going to take on someone who I think is the right test for his career. If he's going to, because he was ranked, he was ranked number 5, and now he's not anymore. So I think this is going to be a very good test for him as his next opponent if he's going to enter the top 5 rankings. Because the top 5 rankings, we have Brotang, Superlek, Nongo, Kongtarini, and Nakrob. Obviously, have Jaosuayai who's fighting on this fight card as well. Could be ranked number 6. So what that tells me is that Johan Estupinan and Taiki Naito is just outside of that rankings. And if Estupinan wins here, he could be fighting for a ranking spot. He could even get the loser of Nakrob and Jaosuayai. We don't know, but I think he's in the prime position right now to be taking on some high-profile fighters, right? So I don't think this fight's going to play out. I think it's going to be a very even matchup. I think that both guys are very stylistically equal in terms of how they move, how they fight. I think Johan Estupinan is a little bit more aggressive. I think he moves around a lot more. Whereas Taiki Naito, it's kickboxing, it's Flyweight Muay Thai, but he's also good at kickboxing. So he will utilize a lot of kickboxing styles in a lot of his shots with kicks. He'll use a lot of tips. He'll use a lot of calf kicks. He'll keep his guard high. He's a very difficult guy to put away because of how defensively sound he actually is, and he doesn't really take a lot of risks. He's also very good defensively. So when he comes away from his strikes, his guard is always up. That fight against Ilia Mahmoudi, he got finished, right? 3rd round KO. He was getting beaten up. And Mahmoudi is massive for flyweight, by the way. So it was a bit of an interesting matchup. But I think for the most part, Taiki Naito is hard to put away. He's very difficult to also land big significant shots on because he's always being defensive. And then you will deep and cough kick, then throw a left to the body, then throw a right. And the next thing you know, when you get into the 3rd round, you've lost so much ground because he landed so many things on you. And you could have been tired and Nike landed a bit more on you. I think that the Estupinan, these keys to victory here, he's going to have to be overwhelmingly aggressive, which is what he does most of the time. But at the same time, also manage his stamina like he did against Johan Ghazali. Manage his stamina. What I liked in that fight was that he came back from a knockdown and showcased to me that he's also got that very quick recovery and speedy recovery as well as a very good durability. He can take it and come back. And I think he's got the length on Taiki Naito as well. So I think if he utilizes those steep kicks, especially the roundhouse steep kick, I think he's definitely going to make it a difficult fight. He's taller, so I think if he utilizes that jab and that long, extensive combinations, I think he's going to make the fight a bit of a spectacle and possibly steal the rounds because of the long, extensive combinations. He just needs to watch those leg kicks from Taiki. I think that he can put Taiki down as well if he's very, very aggressive. But he has to choose it. I think in every round, if he chooses at least a minute of every round or a minute and 30 seconds of every round and goes hard and aggressive, I think he can put Taiki Naito out of there. I think he can really stitch himself away. So I think that he will be as equal to Taiki Naito in terms of output and even more using the youth and vibrance as well. I think he can extend his win streak to 6-0 here and become even more of a prospect. Put himself in that discussion for elite strikers for one championship. Of course, he needs to go through Taiki Naito first. So, prediction, I'm going to go Johan Estupinan. I think he can dance around. He can be aggressive. He can throw different kicks. He can manage his stamina really well. I don't think that Taiki Naito is going to have enough to actually put him away just because of the kind of fighter that Johan Estupinan is. He stays away from danger by being in and out really, really well. And Taiki Naito isn't known for and tracking you down and keeping his opponents within his range. I think that he's going to have a hard time tracking Estupinan down. Estupinan is going to win the fight on a 3-round decision, but it's going to be a beautiful performance from both athletes. It's going to be a wonderful fight to watch. All right, this next fight is going to be a little bit of a short, but let me know your thoughts, obviously, in the comments, please, ladies and gentlemen. This next matchup is going to have a short preview just because this debutant and the other fighter in Ibrahim literally only had one fight in the one championship. I think he's also currently undefeated. He's 9-0 overall, but he only had one fight in the one championship. So Ibrahim, 24 years old, like I said, one fight in the one championship. He beat Mark Abelardo by unanimous decision, and he's currently 9-0. Dangerous fighter, by the way. He's taking on Magomed Akayev. This is going to be a featherweight MMA title bout where I think, let me just check featherweight. It's not Tankai. It's supposed to be Akbar Abdullayev. He is the current featherweight MMA champion. So, but I don't think any of these guys are close to a title fight, if I'm being honest. But if Ibrahim continues the way he does, I think he's going to definitely put himself in that position. I'm just not too familiar about Magomed Akayev too much. I can't really give a prediction on this one. But I'm very fascinated to see how this fight's going to play out. And also to see more of Ibrahim Dawev, because he's a fun fighter. He's aggressive. He's a scary dude, and I just like it. I like how we are seeing this Russian wrestling, and I think by having the Russian wrestling against Russian wrestling, it'll be good for a lot of the fight camps, for all of MMA, to sort of make some notes on how to take these Russian MMA fighters down, because they are deadly and difficult to beat. But of course, as always, ladies and gentlemen, give me your thoughts about that one as I move on and down the card. All right, just making sure that I can get this next one nice and visible for me. Okay, moving down the card, we have some bantamweight Muay Thai and some really fascinating matchup, just because we have a power puncher of Rambolek taking on the speedy in and out kickboxer meets Muay Thai in Dmitry Kovton. Let's give some background on the guy. So Rambolek is ranked number 4 in the bantamweight currently. He's 22 years old. His record in one championship is 5 wins, 2 losses. 2 wins by KO, 1 win by TKO with a 60% finishing rate. 3-fight win streak, beating Param Garati by TKO. Whereas Dmitry Kovton is 27 years old. His record in one championship is 3 wins, 1 loss, 0 no contest, 2-fight win streak. He beat Sulan U by unanimous decision in his last fight. But I mean, it's hard to put Sulan U away. Like, no one can really put that man away. Nabil put a beating on him and still couldn't put him away. So that's nothing to take away from Dmitry. So Rambolek, obviously, people are losing their mind about him, right? He came into one championship and got a contract almost instantly. He's on a 3-fight win streak, and he obviously he beat Param Garati, Craig Cookley, as well as Shona Sen. He's only 2 losses has come up against Asa Tenfa, where he got knocked out. I remember that fight quite vividly. And he also lost to Pariyar Poor by split decision. Before that, he beat Zhang. That's much earlier. But Rambolek right now, he's pulled out really well. Big bantamweight, looks really good for the division. Just want to get my bantamweight rankings here. Looks really big for the division. Powerful puncher, good elbows, walks you down, gets into the clinching positions and let those elbows go. Really good jab on him as well. Doesn't kick that much, but when it does kick, it really packs a lot of heat to it. So I want to see him utilize a lot more of that kicks in this fight. He's going to have to throw some body kicks and calf kicks in this fight to track down Dmitry, because Dmitry Kovton moves a lot, right? He's got some fantastic footwork, good jabs, in and out movement, hard to close down, very aggressive when he gets into the clinch, throw some elbows out there, but he can get tired. I've seen him get tired before. Look, he beat Suwa Black by unanimous decision as well, and he lost to Nontachai before that by KO in the second round. Like I said, it's got a lot of that bouncy kickboxing style, and then throw some spinning stuff here and there. I think Rambolek's going to have to stay patient, not get sucked into a brawl, stay very patient, and just walk Dmitry down. When Dmitry comes in with a jab, slip and throw an overhand right, just a right straight. When you see him jump into his left or jump into his right, throw body kicks to either side, whichever side is going, or throw a calf kick to whatever inside leg, whatever outside leg there is. And to the outside, you just throw a body shot. Keep him within your line of fire. And I think that the power advantage of Rambolek can stand here for me. And I think that if he utilizes that patience, he can definitely beat Dmitry. I think stabbing at the body is a very key factor here for Rambolek, because Dmitry, like I said, has showed signs in the past of really getting tired. I mean, Sulan U was walking him down in the third round. So I think that Rambolek just needs to be patient, not get sucked into a brawl. And I think he can win the fight here. But it's going to be a tough one, because Dmitry's hard. He's a hard fighter, and he's a fun fighter as well. So a lot on the line as well, right? I mean, like I said, the bantamweight divisions, if you go watch my One Championship news, I was breaking down some of the bantamweight potential matchups for the championship sides and the top rankings of that bantamweight division, right? I think Rambolek ranked number 4. If he wins here, he can put himself in a prime position to take on someone like Lobo, who's fighting against Kulab Dam 2 Fridays away. 1, 11, 12, 13. 3 Fridays away, we're going to see that fight take place. That's 3 weeks out, and then we could potentially see that bantamweight rankings move up and down. But I think Rambolek, if he wins here, he can definitely call out someone like a Kulab Dam. If Kulab Dam beats whoever wins between Lobo and Rambolek, Lobo and Kulab Dam, Rambolek can call one of them out. As for Kovton, I think same thing can apply, actually. I think if he wins, he can call out someone pretty much in the rankings as well. We know got Diego, who just moved into rank number 5. We could see Dmitry take on Abdullah Diakaev, win or lose, right? I think Rambo Lake, if he wins, if he loses, he could get Ayakaev next. If he wins, I definitely see him fighting against the winner of Felipe Lobo versus Kulabdam. But of course, let me know your thoughts, please, ladies and gentlemen, in the comments. I'm going to go with Rambo Lake. I think he's going to be patient. I think he's going to use his power really, really smartly. I think he's going to get the job done, especially because he's on a streak right now. They're both on a streak. But I think Rambo Lake, he wants to obviously defend that ranking, and he also wants to go up. So I think there's a lot for him to fight for. Considering also because he's what's the name? He's like almost fast tracked from one championship, if you put it that way, right? Got the contract early. What's the name? Ace Power is not even contracted, and Ace Power knocked him out. He got the contract really early. So I just think that there's a lot that one championship is investing in him. So I think he needs to really showcase why he's getting that massive investment from one championship. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to move on to the last and the opening fight of the night. It's the last fight of my preview and the opening fight of the night. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet just because I don't know why one championship signed Nicholas Vigna. If I'm being honest, you signed him also at the late stage in his career. I mean, he doesn't have that many wins either. I think he's got that many fights. I must go check again, but it's not even in 10 professional fights. Anyway, this is also at lightweight MMA. We've got Nicholas Vigna taking on Zabrailov. Yeah, here we go. Nicholas Vigna is 35 years old. His record in one championship is 0 wins, 1 loss, no contest. He lost to Cade Rutolo by a sub, and that was Cade Rutolo's second or third fight in the one championship. So I was like, what the hell? It's like, and I remember I was raving, I was raging against that fight because I was saying, why did they make this fight happen? It was pretty much just to what's the name? Yeah, Cade Rutolo is now 3-0. I was just double checking that. He's got 3 fights in MMA. So it was like he was just trying to sort of hype up Cade Rutolo, making sure that they can keep building up and curating his MMA career so that when he does take on someone that really has a potential or someone that is ranked in MMA in the lightweight division, then Cade Rutolo would be able to sell that fight a little bit better and he would have more experience, obviously. But he choked out Nicholas within the first round, and I was like, and Nicholas, we didn't even get to see what he can really do. He's taking on someone who I think is probably going to do exactly the same thing to him. Zabir, he's 20 years old. His second championship is 2 wins, 0 losses, 0 no contests. All wins ended in KOs. He's undefeated of total wins of 5 wins, 0 losses. So, I mean, his record is similar to that of Nicholas. And he's undefeated and he's finishing everybody. So I think that, keep it short and sweet, I think that Zabir is going to go in there and finish this fight again. Probably going to land some brutal exchanges on the hands, and eventually once they get to the ground, he's probably going to TKO him on the ground and probably sink in a submission and get the job. Regardless, I can see a very early stoppage here for Zabir. Probably will be first round. If not first round, I'll be very surprised if Nicholas makes it to the second round. But if they do make it to the second round, I think Zabir's going to win there as well. He's just aggressive. I know he's still very young, so there's a lot for him still to learn. But if the style is the way I think it is, I think it's going to make Nicholas really have a hard time dealing with the speed and aggression of what Zabir is going to bring at him. So I think that's gonna be the fight. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, that is my time. Let me know your thoughts. Drop a like, drop a share, drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts about these matchups. This fight card will be taking place again. Let me just bring it up on screen for you as I conclude. There we go. This fight card will be at 3 a.m. South African time on the YouTube page as well as Prime Video. I'll be doing a live, so stay tuned. Tune in for that live. Watch along with me. You can watch these fights. I can't wait for it. It's going to be epic. I know that One Championship also has a nice warm-up fight card before that one, to be on Friday. The usual Friday fights at Hoppers 2 on the YouTube page. Hoppers 2 South African time. It's Friday fights 1-1-1, and I'll be doing my preview a bit later in the week for that one. So stay tuned for that as well. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know I enjoyed delivering it for you. And I look forward to joining all of you with me when I do the live for that fight card. It's your boy BG, and I'll be out of here. Have a good week. Many, many blessings. Cheers.